Hello, grade 12s. Today's topic is the public sector. This is an economics topic for grade 12, so it's very important that you guys know this topic. And I'm going to explain everything you need to know about this topic. The role of public sector. The public sector, also known as a state of government, is responsible for providing certain goods and services to citizens. It also determines the policy regarding these goods and services at national, regional, and local levels. So, guys, as you know, as usual, I'm going to start with the key concepts. Key concepts is terms and definition for those who are visiting my channel for the first time. Terms and definition. So, the budget, a document that details expect revenue and projected expenditure. Bureaucrat, an official in a government department. Central national government, concerned with national issues, e.g. safety and security. Collective goods, goods provided for society as a whole. An example is parks and public utilities. Community goods, police stations, everyone can use this whether they are prepared to pay for them or not. Demerit goods, harmful goods like cigarettes. Deregulation, removal of unnecessary restriction by law. Direct taxes, taxes that are not shifted to the end user. Indirect taxes, taxes levied on the sale of goods and services. Local government deals with the local issues within a town or municipality area. Merit goods, goods and services whose provision has benefits for the user, private for society, or e.g. education. Monetary Policy Committee or the Reserve Bank MPC decides on the country's monetary policy. Medium-term budget policy statement. Government statement setting out its 3-year budget. Medium-term expenditure framework. Estimate income and expenditure for the 3-year period. Nationalism, transfer of functions and ownership of entities from the private sector to the public sector. Public goods and services provided by the state for use by all the members of a society. Regional government deals with economic and other issues specific to region or province. Regulation, putting laws in place to regulate activities, state-owned enterprises, a business owned wholly and partly by the state and run by the public authorities. Example, ESCOM. Value-added tax and indirect tax on goods and services consumed in the economy. That's VAT, value-added tax, which most of us know. So I'm going to start here. Composition and necessity. I'm going to start there. We are getting to the real deal now. Composition and necessity. Composition, national central government. A concerned with national issues is concerned with national issues, health, defense, education and safety security. Also includes non-profit organization, SAPS. Provincial and regional government concerned with the administration of the 9 provinces and economic issues specific to the region. Local government concerned with the local issues within a town from municipal area and e.g. electricity deliveries, libraries, traffic control and refuse removal. Public corporation, state-owned enterprise SOEs that provide public goods and services such as ESCOM, Transnet and SAPS. Necessity of the public sector to provide public goods. Goods and services provided by state for use by all the members of society. 3 groups can be distinguished. So guys, I won't lie to you, it's important that you remember this one. I've already made a video about this one, but I'm gonna explain it again. Community goods, goods are which there is a complete supply or none, e.g. defense or policy. Those are community goods, goods which there is a complete supply or none. Collective goods differ from community goods as fees, charges or tolls can be levied to exclude free riders, beaches, drainage, parks. Those are collective goods. Merit goods, goods provided by the state because it is believed that they would be undersupplied if the provision was left entirely to the market force, like education, healthcare, and research. Those are goods provided by the state. It's very important that we have healthcare and education. So collective goods, goods that are like free riders, like parks. Parks, you found them for free. They just built them. You don't pay anything. And also community goods like defense and police, which we have a right to have. To conserve resources, government has to intervene to protect the environment if the environment is exposed to insensitive and even careless use. It may be damaged, e.g. the oceans for fishing, the earth we breathe, natural sceneries. To intervene in the economy ensures a social and legislative environment, apply suitable and credible economic and development policies, promote policies that ensure equal opportunities for all members of society, limit anti-competitive behavior. Problems of public sector provision. Learn these 6 problems of public sector provision. This one usually appears on the essay whenever there's a public sector essay. So if you wanna study this one, study in a form that you wanna remember it entirely, because this one most of the time they ask you on when you are about to write an essay. Accountability. Government is required to make the implement policies. Accountability is underpinned by ministerial responsibility, parliamentary questioning, treasury control, and auditor general. Public servants are required to give an explanation of their decision and actions. The public holds government accountable for effective delivery of services and the implementation of policies. Efficiency. Efficient provision. Public servants provide the public with goods and services promptly and in desired quantity and quality. Inefficient provisioning. Public servants fail to deliver service to public because of bureaucracy and incompetence and corruption. That's inefficient provision. They fail to deliver services. Assessing of needs. Government provides goods and services according to the needs of people. Assessing these needs is difficult. Market forces determine the price of goods and services in the private sector. State enterprise are not subjected to the forces of demand and supply. Pricing policy. Free of charge. Certain services are provided free of charge from taxes, and e.g. public health service and tax revenue is used to cover the cost. Price value. It is difficult for government to establish the correct pricing. Paid services. People pay for some services, e.g. TV licenses. Subsidized products. The public pay less for goods because government pays towards the cost, e.g. the price of bread is subsidized by government. Parastatals. State-owned enterprise SOEs can be created as a result of nationalization. Service provisioning. SOEs support service delivery, e.g. Eskom, SAB, BC, and Transnet can lead to monopolies, high prices, and inefficiency. The service provision. Infrastructure provision. SOEs provide essential infrastructure, especially when there are insufficient funds in the public sector, e.g. the road network. Limited liability. SOEs have a limited liability in South Africa because they are financially supported by the government. Privatization and nationalization. Privatization refers to the transfer of functions and ownership from the public to private sector. The aim of the privatization is to reduce the relative size of the public sector. Advantage of privatization. Privatization stimulates growth and improves the overall efficiency and performance of the economy. It stimulates growth and improves the overall efficiency and performance of the economy. Privatization provides additional funds to the government. Privatization attracts foreign investment. Nationalization is an opposite of privatization. Remember this one, guys. It is process whereby the state takes control of ownership and privately owned assets to private enterprises. Some argue that the state-owned enterprise, e.g. Eskom, should be privatized. Objectives of the public sector and its budget. Objectives: economic growth. This one also appears on SE, and this one most of the time it appears on SE. When I check the previous exam papers, it is this one that appears, that the one that has economic growth, full employment, price stability, and economic equity. So it's also important that you memorize this one. This one is a very important. Economic growth. We're going to start with objectives. Economic growth refers to an increase in the production of goods and services measured in terms of real GDP. For economic growth to occur, the economic growth rate must be higher than the population growth. Growth and development in the country benefit its citizens because it often leads to a higher standard of living. Full employment. It is when all people who want work, who are looking for work, must be able to get work. A high level of employment is the most important economic objective of the government. The unemployment rate increased over the past few years. Informal sector activities must be promoted because it is an area where employment increases. GEAR as a strategy was implemented to create a positive climate that was conducive to employment creation by the private sector. As you see here, I've written for you guys the important points, as I usually always do. So just remember these things. Exchange rate stability. Effective fiscal and monetary policy can be used to keep exchange rate relatively stable. Depreciation and appreciation of the currency creates uncertainties for producers and traders and should be limited. The SARB changed to exchange rate from a managed floating to a free floating exchange rate. Price stability. Stable prices lead to better results in terms of job creation and economic growth. The SARB inflation targets is 3% to 6% and have to be successful in keeping inflation within this target. Interest rates based on the repo rate are the main instrument used to achieve price stability. A stable budget deficit also has a stabilized effect on inflation rate. Economic equity. The redistribution of income and wealth is essential. South Africa uses a progressive income tax system. Taxation on profit, taxation on wealth, capital gains tax, and taxation on spending are used to finance free services. Free social services are basic education, primary health, and to finance basic economic services, e.g. cash grant to the poor, also child grants and cash grants to the vulnerable people, that is disability grants. Progressive taxation means that higher income earners pay higher and more tax. Budgets. Now we're going to the budgets, guys. Definitions, which is not really that important that you memorize all of the definitions. So yeah, this one doesn't really appear on SE. I'm pretty much sure that this one doesn't appear on SE. It appears most of the time on section B or section A. Yet most of the time it appears on section A. Section A most of the time. But I'm not saying that it won't appear on section B on the essay, but most of the time it appears on section A. Definition. It is a document with expected income and projected expenditure. The budget is the most important item on economic calendar. The main budget is read in the parliament during February by the Minister of Finance. Different types of budget. Medium-term expenditure framework, MTEF. The Minister of Finance delivers it in the last week of October. The medium-term budget policy statement, MTBPS. The Minister of Finance informed Parliament of any charges that have occurred since February. The medium-term expenditure framework (MTEF) requires that the state sets budgets over a 3-year period, consist of rolling expenditure and revenue projection. As I've said, guys, this one normally appears on section A, so just read it and don't try to memorize all of it, and normally appears on section A. The main national budget is the statement of the government planned expenditure and anticipated income of fiscal year. Minister of Finance finalizes the budget. There are three considerations when setting up the budget: financial, economic, and political. The financial cabinet decides whether the taxes have to be increased or decreased. Economic cabinet must know the needs and or requirements in the economy. Political parties use this budget to implement their provisional their policy. The provisional budget. They are main beneficiaries from tax income collected by the government. Money paid to provinces is based on the equitable share and conditional grants. Each province set up its own budget and presents it to the provincial legislature. Financial year in provinces runs from 1 April to 31 March the following year. Equitable share formulate is used to distribute revenue to provinces. This is it, guys. Provincial budget. The one that these are all the ones that appear on section A. Fiscal policy. This one also appears on section A. This topic also appears on section A, sometimes on section B. But you'll get there. I'll explain to you which ones normally appear on section B. Fiscal policy can be defined as an action taken by the government in respect of the taxation, government spending, and borrowing in order to influence economic activities. Features. These are the features. Goal bound. Central government determines economic and social goals during the budgetary process. The budget is used to realize these economic and social goals. Demand based. Fiscal policy is main demand side policy. The government improves infrastructure to support fiscal policy. Cyclical business cycles have an effect on fiscal policy decision. By the way, guys, there's one thing I have to address. So if I'm too quick for you guys, just there's a feature on YouTube. Just slow down the video. There's a feature on YouTube where you can slow down the video. So I'm just being too quick because some of the things that are not really that important that appear on section A. So yeah, just slow down the video. You will hear me properly. Cyclical business cycles have an effect on fiscal policy decision during an upswing. Profits increase, and as a result of government income increases. Composition. This one also appears on section A. Instruments of fiscal policy are taxation and government spending. When income and expenditure are equal, when income is more than expenditure, there is a budget surplus. Expenditure. Government spending is classified in two main ways: function classification, social protection, economic interest general. Economic classification, current payments, transfer and subsidies payment for capital assets. Government spends money to provide public and merit goods and services free of charge or at subsidized price, to pay interest, government debt, to redistribute income, to influence aggregate demand and supply. Taxation. Government imposes tax for following reasons: to raise income, to cover expenditure, to discourage the use of the merit goods, to convert external costs into private costs, to discourage imports, to distribute income. Borrowing. State debt. The main budget must always balance. If there is a deficit, loans are made to balance it. If there is a surplus, the money is used to pay off debt, the state debt. Loans add to loan debt, also known as a public debt. Affects. Income distribution. Progressive tax systems. Fiscal policy aims to achieve a more even distribution income. Regressive tax system. Fiscal policy causes an uneven distribution income. Proportional tax system. Fiscal policy uses this when it does not wish to disturb the existing distribution of income. Consumption. Direct and indirect taxes influence people's disposable income and expenditure. and spending patterns. An increase in taxes will cause spending to decrease, especially when savings are low. Price level. Direct tax reduces inflationary pressure. A rise in indirect taxes will raise the general price level. So this is it. And the other one is incentives and incentives. So we are going to the Laffer curve now. The Laffer curve doesn't appear on section A. It always appear on section B. That's how sure I am. The Laffer curve, by the way, shows the relationship between tax rate and income tax in what is called the Laffer curve. Sometimes it might appear on section C, which is most of the time an essay topic, but just watch out for it on section B. It doesn't appear on section A. It's either section B or an essay topic. The Laffer curve, as I've said, shows the relationship between income tax rate and tax revenue. As you can see here, I've drawn for you. This is it. This is the Laffer curve. As you can see here, this is the Laffer curve. I'll explain it as you see, as you are watching it here. At point 0, average tax rate is 0. The tax revenue is 0. As tax rate increases, the tax revenue will also increase up to a certain point. The curve will slope upward, then peak at T. The curve will slope upward, then peak at T. Maximum tax revenue is at point R, the peak, and the best tax rate is at point T. The state earns maximum revenue at point B. If the tax rate increases from T to T1, then the tax revenue will decrease from R to R1. People work less as a result of higher tax rate. It's very straightforward, because if you are taxed too much, you are not likely to work. Discretion. The Minister of Finance uses his discretion of fiscal decision, e.g. how much to reduce income tax rules are deficit rule not exceed 3% of GDP, borrowing rule only for capital expenditure, debit rule not exceed 6% of normal GDP. Public sector failure. Characteristics of and features: ineffectiveness. Public sector is failing when the following are prevalent. Missing targets, example regarding inflation, growth, and employment. Incompetent in using monetary and fiscal policy and harmonizing them. Sorry guys, that was too quick. Sorry guys. Inefficiencies: wasting resources such as taxpayers' money. These may occur in relation to protection and social, economic, and administrative services for which money is voted in the budget. Reasons: public sector failure occurs when the public sector fails to provide goods and services to the people. There are many reasons for public sector failure. Some of these are management failure. Ignorance, lack of leadership and experience and training might result in improvement of the welfare of someone at expense of someone else. Empathy: government officials shows little or no interest in delivering or efficient service to the public. Lack of motivation: workers rarely receive incentive for successful service delivery, but are only monitored on inputs and correctly following procedures and processes. This might lead to limited services, high cost, and low quality. Bureaucracy: bureaucrats tend to obey rules and regulations without judgment. They tend to be more interested in obeying the rules than the efficient delivery of goods and services to the people. Structural and weakness: objectives are not met. Some objectives may work against each other, e.g. government redistribution, income, and wealth too aggressively. Special interest groups: attempts by the interest groups such as farmers organize labor to influence government to their own advantage. Affects allocation of resources: when the government fails, an optimal allocation of resources is not achieved and consequently resources are wasted. Economic instability, government failure. This one, guys, normally doesn't appear, but you might find it on section A. This one's from reasons from public sector failure and affects economic instability. Government failure can lead to macroeconomic instability. Government is unable to use fiscal policy effectively. Distribution of income. If the government fails to use the tax system effectively, then there will be an unfair distribution of income in the economy. Social instability. When the public sector fails to deliver the required social service to the poor, the economy can be destabilized. So that's the public sector topic, guys. I don't know how to explain. If you want another explanation, I could get you another explanation. Just drop down the comment and say you want a different explanation. I got many explanations of this, so I will explain it on different terms, on using different words. So just comment down below, say you want a different explanation. I will explain it in different terms. And if you want a question and answer, you can also comment down below here. I could get back to it, question and answer about the public sector, where because some of the people our brains are not the same. Some of you want the thing question and answer. I could make it. I'll make questions. I could take previous exam question papers and answer them for you guys. So guys, this is all you need to know about the public sector topic. So guys, don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and check out other videos about economic profit, and also other videos about perfect market and imperfect market and circular flow. I've already made videos about economics, so you can check down on the playlist, or check down on the description. I've left links there. So guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon.